My husband and I disagree about his role as a father to our child. I don't know how I can do this. Too long did not read. Husband and I have wildly different expectations of what his role should be as a dad. I think my in-laws played a major role in shaping his expectations. I need help understanding if I'm wrong or if I should push back and ask him to do more. Edit. Thanks for the overwhelming support, I really appreciate it. It is an unexpected boost that's made my day. I just want to make one thing very clear. My husband was an absolute rock through my IVF treatment and pregnancy. We were on the same page about parenting too, right up till his parents got here. He is an amazing partner when not under the influence of his family. It's first time we're both parents, so it will take some adjustment. What I'm asking is if my expectations of 50-50 partnership are reasonable or if some mothers inherently do more because of nature of paid leave, breastfeeding, family etc. Please don't be too harsh on him. I know he can do better. I just need to know if that's something I need to push him towards or if it's not fair for me to do so. My husband, 35 male, and I, 33 female, had a baby boy about 4 months ago. We've been married for 8.5 years now. We began treatment for IVF 2 years ago. I underwent 3 treatment cycles and 1 transfer resulting in the birth of our son a few months ago. Before and during the pregnancy I was clear that I didn't want his parents with us at the delivery because we don't have the best of relationships. Husband was supportive of this at the time. Mill is a pediatrician though, so she tried to argue with us about being there for the birth, but husband supported me and told her to come by later after the birth of the child. In-laws were obviously not happy. For context, I lost my mother to cancer a few years ago and my dad remarried. Somewhere close to 28 weeks, there was a scan that said baby might be underdeveloping. Not a strong possibility, but doctor was being overly cautious and wanted us to come by every week for a scan. Mill saw the diagnosis and insisted she should be here to support us. NGLI was confused at the time and reluctantly agreed. However, Mill flew out a whole month before actual delivery day because it was the only auspicious day. The subsequent scan showed everything was okay, so Mill was with us a month before birth with not much to do. We got along fine initially. Then the problems began. Phil flew out about 10 days before the delivery. Suddenly Mill was catering to Phil's needs. Cooking 3 fresh meals a day. I was still pregnant, so it didn't affect me much as I wasn't able to do much. After birth, the cycle continued. Mill was cooking 3 extensive fresh meals a day, for Phil. I wasn't able to eat the food as I had some food sensitivities remaining, mainly not tolerating much spice. Mill tried to accommodate me by making the food less spicy, but I still couldn't eat much. I was also handling the baby 80–90% of the time, including exclusively handling night shifts. About 4 weeks post-delivery, I had a C-section. Husband tells me I've had enough rest and I need to help his mother more in the kitchen. I tried to explain I still has pain and bleeding from the surgery, but he said, he knows me well enough to know I'm exaggerating and that the 6-week rest is a textbook recommendation and doesn't apply to everyone. So I asked him to help me during night shifts and I would help in the kitchen more. I tried to help in the kitchen, but I honestly couldn't do much. I'll fast forward through the rest, but the highlights are in-laws complained that I was not actively participating in the planning of the meals or helping in the kitchen. A plain menu that I set wasn't reasonable as they didn't eat plain food. I wasn't helping in the kitchen much. I was not looking after my husband by making him breakfast or coffee on the mornings. Is husband really happy with me? Why am I not eating the food they were making? It hurt their feelings after they spent so long in the kitchen cooking for me. Husband says he tried to support me, but he saw their POV and hoped I could actively change to accommodate them more. The day our baby turned 2 months, when he had his first vaccine appointment, in-laws planned to leave. There was another scare due to rising cases of the you-know-what, so husband insisted on driving them to a safe distance from where their commute would be safer. I handled the baby and his fever alone for several hours. For then on, husband has been prioritizing work. He returned to work 3 weeks after baby was born, and after his parents left he said he was needed at work and he could not help much with the baby. Luckily my dad landed a week later and has been helping me out ever since. My father helps with the household and baby. Husband WFH, needing him to be in front of the computer 6–7 hours a day. Husband is still very fussy about order food if he doesn't like what I've made. But at least he helps me with the night feeds. We are doing mixed feeding, so he gives him a bottle if needed after I'm done breastfeeding. Baby doesn't always need a bottle at night, but husband has become more involved in helping if baby does. However, during the day, husband says his job is priority, and as a dad he can come and play with the baby when he pleases. It's his baby. Problem is he doesn't seem to care about waking the baby. Once he slammed the door very loudly and woke the baby up. Then he played with the baby at night until baby woke up. Today he snoozed his alarm and put it next to the baby, so when it rang again, baby woke up. When I confronted him, husband says baby usually wakes up at this time anyway, and that he needs 6 alarms to wake up in the morning. I asked him to put the baby to sleep, but he says he was hungry. Another point of contention between in-laws, husband and I, is our stance on breastfeeding. They don't think it's as important. Naturally, a fight ensued. My problem is that he doesn't think there's anything wrong with waking the baby and that I'm complaining too much. It's not like he handles the baby after waking him. He leaves the baby to me because he has to get ready for work, has a meeting. I feel like he's acting very entitled and should help out more. My in-laws featured heavily in the first part of this post because before they got here I honestly think my husband and were on the same page about splitting responsibilities. But after they arrived I feel like my husband had an attitude change about his role as a parent. So Reddit, what I need help with is this: should I lower my expectations of what my husband's role should be as a father? How does everyone else do it? I am really struggling as a new mom and know for a fact I couldn't manage if my dad wasn't here right now. I don't know how all the other SOD do it. Please help. Any advice and resources will be much appreciated. I honestly couldn't even finish reading this entire thing because as soon as he said, "Time to help my mother in the kitchen," I was instantly infuriated. How about he helps in the kitchen and you take yourself and your baby on a long vacation? Your husband is a dick. He is disrespectful, ignorant and selfish. Oh my god. Why are all these mama's boys such shitty people? Wake that baby one more time and you can go live with your parents. You either set up marriage counseling so we can rid you of your antiquated ideas of fatherhood and step up, or you'll find me completely over you. Your husband needs to grow up. Newborn stage, I did everything I could to support my wife because I couldn't feed the baby. Did all laundry, cooked every meal, did all the shopping and anything house related, and tried to give her breaks as best I could. Now that he's one, we've settled on a pretty good 50-50 teamwork setup most days. I know for a fact if I acted like your husband, divorce and acrimony would have occurred. Get your shit together, or I'm leaving. I would tell him something to this effect. Sounds like the dying embers of an older generation's perception of gender role. Which definitely benefits the husband and makes your life way harder. My wife would never put up with this from me and I would never do this shit to her. From your story you are not being treated fairly. Your husband classically has decided your feelings aren't important. This doesn't bode well for when your kid starts emotionally developing and wants validation from their dad. You need an upgrade. Husband 2.0. No more gender roles, just your lives together which both of you are responsible for. Willing to bet his mom's trad wife behavior and dad's access to a full-time servant go into his head. And if they didn't explicitly say it to him they are very least heavily hinted that you're not doing enough. Am I being taken advantage of? Me, M22, and my fiancé, F23, have been together for almost 2 years now. I do everything. I wash all the clothes, make food, clean everything, take out the trash, etc. My partner hardly ever does. I could literally be unloading the dishwasher and she'll stand there and watch. If I do laundry she might fold some but refuses to hang anything up because she can't do it right. I've supported us both financially the entire relationship. She has not worked one solid week since we've been together, worked maybe 20-30 days the whole time. I sold most of my belongings when it got tough, but I got us though. I was finally able to start my own small business too, but shortly after she quit her job. I've been trying to hang on. But our rent was just raised plus the crazy prices of everything right now. I have to give up my dream to support both of us. There's so much more I could add, but it honestly breaks my heart putting it into words. I love her to death, but I feel like she's going to be the death of me. I've tried communicating this before but she always says I'm attacking her, then starts yelling and crying hysterically. I'm at a loss on what to do. You may love her but you also have to love yourself. The more you continue with a relationship that feels unfair, the less self-respect you'll feel for yourself. And then you really will get stuck. Dude, she is taking you for a ride. She's a leech, wanting you to earn the money and do the housework. Stop doing any housework for her. Wash only your clothes, your cutlery and let the rest go. If she has problems, tell her to do it. If it continues, move out. Whatever you do, don't marry her yet. If you can't raise issues without a hysterical reaction, you are basically in a hostage situation, not a relationship. Read that back to yourself. It should answer your own question. I'm sorry that you've come to the point, not only of making a post on Reddit about it, but having the realization of what is going on. You must have been asking your title question for quite some time? As someone who did many things in a relationship and was hardly, if ever, recognized for them, I know the feeling. From your description, it sounds as if you are. However, you have to make the decision, but yes. Good luck. Get out of THST relationship ASAP. It will hurt, but trust me, it will be better for the long run. Imagine having kids with her. Also, your love for her will go away and then you will be stuck with a dependent woman. Does cheater have rights to the house? Almost 10 years together, bought a house together 6 years ago, but my name is on the deed, not his. We've been going through serious non-speaking separation issues for about 2-3 YRS, but I kept faith it would work out. Plus we stayed intimate, and not even 6 months ago he told me he wanted to work things out. Loves me so much, blah blah. Fast forward to Father's Day. Our daughter tells me he took her to some woman's house and took her kid to Chuck E. Cheese with them flushed. And while he sounded like he planned to sleep there, our daughter cried for me, so he ended up leaving. Then the woman was fighting with Jim about leaving, etc. Like only a lover would. Anyway, I have other things that makes this make sense, so I'm accepting he is cheating. But the house. We both paid, he put a lot of labor and live into it. But it's in my name. I want him out and he refuses. I served him a 30-day eviction notice, but he doesn't take me seriously. I spoke to a lawyer and said I could legally get him out. So I plan to issue him another eviction notice. I'm a bit concerned how this is going to end because he is a major hothead. The last 2-3 YRS I dealt with gaslighting, manipulation, lies, everything is my fault, etc. I don't know what kind of advice I'm seeking. Maybe this is just a vent. BTW, I'm devastated, but F that right now. He got me effed up and I just want to move on. Weary. That is mostly a lawyer thing. I don't know what you are trying to ask here. This is a legal issue, not a relationship problem. Cheating is not illegal. Do what your lawyer is telling you to do. Follow the lawyer's advice if you want him out. Stop. Do not offer payments or anything else. You said you talked to your lawyer. Stop talking to your partner. You are not legally married, so that changes everything about what he's entitled to. No one on Reddit knows the legality of all the issues you're dealing with. Make no offers or anything else. Hand this mess over to your lawyer and let him fight with your partner and get him out. Also talk to your lawyer about him bringing your children to his lover's house and them witnessing their arguments. That needs shut down. He's done enough damage without doing that to your kids. He says anything to you, tell him talk to your lawyer. Do what your lawyer says. It isn't cheating if y'all are separated. I'm a little confused cause it seems you were separated for 2/3 of a year but still having sex? How can I explain to my husband that I need more time to grieve? Sorry, this is gonna be a long one since I've got a lot to unpack here. I, F24, had a miscarriage 2 months ago. It was my first ever pregnancy and the doctors said I was doing great, so when it happened I was completely taken by surprise. It's honestly one of the worst things I've ever experienced. She was 6 months along and I had already picked out a name. My husband has been equally shaken, but unlike me, who's gone into full-on recluse mode, he's been wanting me to get right back on the saddle and try for another baby already. He's always wanted a big family, so when we got married nearly 4 years ago he immediately wanted to start having children. I wasn't as eager as him, but I accepted to make him happy. Sadly, I've been plagued with fertility issues and I could tell it bothered my husband. I think part of him deep down resents me for having a miscarriage. About a week after it happened he told me that we should start trying ASAP. I was still so distraught I could barely even think about trying again. He said once my body is back to normal we'll try again and that's final. Well, much to my despair, I got my period last week. If he knew, he'll demand we try to conceive again. But I'm really just not mentally ready. I feel like a part of me has died with my last child and I'm really not sure how to move on. So I hid from him the fact that my cycle is back. Which isn't too easy with all the trash you get with pads. I told my mom about it and she said I'm being a terrible partner to my spouse. I don't want to be a bad partner, so what can I say to him to make him understand my perspective? Dude. I was reading your post history and your comments and replies. And you are seriously in an abusive relationship. He restricts you from leaving? You don't get much time with friends? Girl. This is horrible. Please don't have a baby with this man. He is terrifyingly controlling and crazy. He said once my body is back to normal we'll try again and that's final. What the hell? Is he your husband or your boss? That's final? That's how parents talk to their children at times, not how equal partners talk to each other. Your mother is also full of shit. You lost a 6-month baby. I can barely image that. It's only been 2 months. Your husband is being the terrible partner to the point that he just sees you as his brood cow. You really want to have kids with a man who overlooks a late-in-pregnancy miscarriage because he needs to use his wife's body to reproduce? Gross. 2 months is not terribly long. Just tell him, not yet. You are entitled to more time. I'm so sorry for your loss. You need to be firm with him when you tell him that you are not ready yet and you need more time. Do not listen to your mother, she is taking the side of a controlling husband instead of her daughter. If he refuses to wait until you're ready, you might need to take a break from the marriage. He said once my body is back to normal we'll try again and that's final. His ears should still be bleeding from the riot act he deserved. Give him a choice. Marriage counselor or divorce lawyer. Also tell your mom to kick rocks. Your husband is being a terrible partner to you. I suspect her baby rabies has taken over her brain. I am so upset about this situation. Not only are you grieving, but you are being pressured to do something you are not ready for. Both your husband and mom are being unempathic of your feelings. If all your husband wants is a big family and is angry at your infertility, then it is best for this relationship to end. There will only be pain on both sides if he does not change his attitude. If he loves you and just has to give up his desire, then I am sure I'll work on giving up his desire so you can be happy. However, the "that's final" speech tells me that your husband will not take the loving route. Not because he does not care, but because he does not understand what you are going through.